Welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely pumped to dive into this one with you. Look, we've all been there, right? You're scrolling on your phone, and suddenly you're paused on this magical little animation, feeling an unexpected tug at your heartstrings. Well, today, we're deconstructing exactly how these vertical microstories capture our hearts and completely hijack our attention. It really brings up this fascinating paradox. What makes a tiny story feel so incredibly huge? To figure that out, we're going to look closely at the exact narrative formula used in two wildly successful, heartwarming microstories. Think of them as our case studies. By the end of our time here, you'll see exactly how these pocket-sized narratives are engineered to trigger massive emotional responses.
Okay, let's get into Section 1, Anatomy of Heartwarming Animation, Deconstructing the Magic.
To understand the architectural blueprints of all this joy, we really have to talk about the micro-hero's journey. It's basically a highly emotional, family-friendly narrative structure that's totally optimized for short-form content. What this structure pulls off in such a compact time frame is honestly brilliant. It takes deep empathy, struggle, and this ultimate triumph and compresses the whole shebang into a tiny, easily digestible package that just hits you right in the feels.
Moving right along to Section 2, the tiny, unlikely heroes, setting the stage. Now, what's really interesting here is that every single one of these great emotional journeys starts the exact same way. You have a very small character facing a very big world. It instantly triggers our protective instincts. Take our first case study, the brave ant. Her ultimate dream is to find the absolute sweetest sugar crystal in the whole forest. Or look at our second hero, the kind rabbit, who steps up to help a tiny, lost, crying river duckling find its mother. Both of these inciting incidents immediately set up incredibly high stakes, but their motives are just so pure. One is driven by this sweet ambition for her colony, and the other, just immediate selfless compassion for a stranger.
Next up, Section 3, the journey of empathy, helping others along the way.
You see, these stories, they're never just about rushing to the finish line. They are built entirely on compounding acts of empathy. Let's trace the ant's path. She actually delays her own grand quest to help out. First, she stops to free a trapped butterfly. Then, she literally shares her own food with a hungry ladybug. And finally, she rescues a baby caterpillar from the pouring rain. Each consecutive step of helping someone else is totally intentional. It builds the emotional resonance, layering kindness on top of kindness.
And let's move over to see how this builds in the rabbit story, because that chain reaction of kindness is mirrored perfectly there too. As the rabbit and the little crying duckling cross a wooden bridge deeper into the forest, their empathy actually inspires the whole community. They meet a friendly squirrel, consult the wise owl, and ask a gentle deer. And each one steps up to provide a crucial clue to find the mother duck. So the rabbit's initial kindness sparks this beautiful chain reaction from the rest of the forest.
Which brings us to Section 4, the cinematic visual style, creating the vibe.
Now, as airtight as that narrative formula is, the visual packaging is doing half the heavy lifting here. We're talking Pixar-style 3D animation, ultra-realistic details, and cinematic lighting. Throw in some incredibly vibrant colors, lush environments, and of course those adorable, hyper-expressive characters. All of this works together to create this warm, tactile, magical forest vibe. It immediately draws you in and makes the environment feel safe and completely enchanting.
But wait, there's a secret weapon at play, the power of the 9:16 aspect ratio. This is huge. Because this vertical format completely monopolizes your field of vision on your phone, the rest of the physical world literally falls away. It isolates the emotion. It creates a direct one-on-one connection between you and the story. You're effectively stepping inside a portal where nothing else exists except this tiny hero.
Let's hit Section 5, crafting the perfect ending, the emotional payoff.
And this brilliantly illustrates the final, most crucial element, the triumphant, happy ending. It acts like a release valve for all that emotional tension we've been building. For the ant, finding that giant sparkling sugar crystal, that's just the climax. The real reward is the community celebration where she happily shares it with her entire colony. And for the rabbit and duckling, reaching that beautiful lake where the duck runs to its mother's wings is a total tearjerker, for sure. But the true payoff happens when all the forest animals, the squirrel, the owl, the deer, celebrate together. Both stories culminate not just in a personal win, but in shared joy with their broader community.
So, what does this all mean for us? It boils down to a simple, incredibly potent formula. Empathy plus aesthetics equals emotional connection. By combining a highly structured, empathy-driven microjourney with those vibrant, detailed 3D aesthetics, you're guaranteeing an emotional impact. It is a reliable, absolutely brilliant formula for generating joy and locking in viewer attention.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. How can you apply this formula of compounding empathy to your own stories? Think about it. Whether you're building a brand, writing a book, or creating your own media, how can you use these exact narrative and visual beats to elevate your projects? I really challenge you to leverage these tools to make your work unforgettable. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. I hope you found it as fascinating as I did. Keep learning and keep creating.